Harm asked me to talk about lean startup. I'm thankful, Harm. That's a very easy topic. And I'm Olaf. I founded my first software company right after my exam in economics. That was in early '98. There was the internet hype time. Internet came up. There was no internet before, and there were many things to be done and to be created, and lots of software to be programmed. And we hired software programmers and started to develop web applications. So we created the first email systems, mass email systems, dating communities. We set up online stores to do online retail, which hardly existed at that time. We've done document transportation for greater corporates. We had 2 or 3 really brilliant programmers. One of them is here. It's Frank in the back there in the middle with a beard. He's a little bit shy, but he's an absolutely genius Java developer. And if you get him for your project, you have really won. He's a really crazy guy and absolutely genius. Well, at the time, the household was connected with an ISDN 128K-bit data rate, so it wasn't possible to transport PowerPoint documents, Word documents, Excel documents. Videos have not been in the internet at all, and photos have to be made really small to be transported. But anyway, it was possible to transform documents, for example, into an HTML standard. So we set up platforms for great corporates, for example, for Merck Chemicals. They have 2,000 chemistries running around in laboratories who need a lot of testing documentation, and you can provide it suddenly via web or via wireless. Was also possible at that time. Or for the NATO, we set up platforms to deliver crisis reports from Kosovo around the globe and stuff like that. So it was really a fantastic time. And our biggest customers have been Mobilcom and Freenet. They just came up. Mobilcom has been to the stock market, really successful company on the stock market. And they founded Freenet in '98. And 2000, after we have been founded, they acquired our company. So we became a Freenet daughter. At that time, Freenet was founded by Mobilcom in '98, and they did an IPO in the year of founding, and they collected 110 million on the stock market in the year they were founded. So it was a great time, and the management had lean startup practice. They had a lot of money, so lean startup has nothing to do with not having money. It's more or less, it has something to do with how you do it, and even though you have lots of money, and Mobilcom even had more money, the stock markets and the customers created hundreds of millions each month that ran into the company, and the management had millions of dollars, and they still worked with the lean startup management practice, even though the terminus lean startup didn't exist at that time. But the tools or the way to do it has been there already. So I show you a few examples, and what I do believe is and centric about lean startup from the practice. I left Freenet in 2006. I founded 2 more other software companies afterwards, and for 1 year now I retired from founding software companies, and now I'm helping other young technology startups. I did a lot of financing. I did a lot of seed and round A finance with private equity, with institutional money, with governmental money, with venture capital. And at the moment I'm doing a finance round for another technology startup, and some other friends are trying to talk me into founding my 4th software company, and I'm still looking for reasons to say no. But, well, let's see what's come. Okay, what is Lean Startup? First of all, it's a book from Eric Ries. Who has read it? Okay, so many of you should read it. Yeah, I mean, all the technique is it's quite nice to read. It's inspiring. I read it also. Well, lots of these things I read have already been known, but still there's some things to find that are new. So you should read this book from Eric Ries. It's really a good book. It's a collection of methods. It's a way to do it. It's a way to think. It's a way to make decisions. It's maybe a skill. It's maybe a mindset. And you are here to create ideas about startups or starting a product or a service or business, and we call it startup. And in our mindset, a startup is maybe a company founded by young people who want to do their own business. I do believe that I go more with the definition that a startup is just a new product, and it could also be created in a huge corporate. I mean, you can be just a manager in a bigger company or manage a department and still have the needs of a startup, or if you want to create a new product which isn't covered by the management or by budget from the management, then you have to create it without budget. You have to show that it will work, and then you can use this, then you are a startup yourself within the company, even though you don't found with your own money your own company. For entrepreneurs, of course it's for entrepreneurs. Who is an entrepreneur? I mean, here also we can take the definition. An entrepreneur is somebody who's running his own company with his own money, who's the boss and the owner of the business. That's certainly an entrepreneur, but to be honest, the fewest of us will become an entrepreneur. That's a very hard job to do, and you have to be personally made and prepared for that. First of all, it's a monopole to pain and nothing else, and then the rest might follow. But the only thing that is guaranteed is high pressure and high pain, because you always have a lot of responsibility. You have to play with your own money. I mean, you can play the OPM strategy. I did it a few times. Other people's money, that's better for your nerves. But then you also have to deal with the investors and manage them as well. So, but entrepreneurial spirit you can also have if you work in a corporate, if you manage a department or whatever. If you're just a manager, you can also have entrepreneurial spirit or ideas. And of course, entrepreneurial technique to set up a new product or a new business. So lean startup is of course a technique that can be used by everybody. And everybody can be an entrepreneur. So then when you look at what is lean startup, you always find this cycle, and I hate it. I hate this cycle so much. There's so many consultants who put this on their website and say, yeah, we are really, if you work with us, you really go up. But here, to explain what lean startup is, it's quite helpful. So you have an idea, we should maybe build this or that, and then you try to build it. You try to prove that you are able to set it up. You start to program, you start to do something technical. You are in the laboratory and you tinker around on the stuff that you are crazy about. And someday you find out that, well, we should start to ask a customer if there is one out there who wants to buy it. So you start to measure, is there a market? Is there a need? Is somebody willing to pay for it? Is the payment high enough so we can afford to produce it, and so on and so on? Then you start to measure the market and the response from the market, and you learn about it and you try to improve your product to get closer to the customer needs. This is the cycle that you have to work in. But to be honest, I have consulted during the last 3 years maybe 6 or 7 startups, and there was only one startup who really has worked customer-centric. There was only one startup where the entrepreneur really loved to sell, really loved to pick up the phone, call somebody, and tell them about the product. And this is one point, this is really a weak point. And here to you, I mean, you're all here in the Prototype Week to get together ideas. You're not in a presenting a product to the customer situation at the moment now, most of you not. But you should really, it's really customer-centric. You should really start with the customer. You don't have to be in the laboratory. You don't have to code a line. You don't have to make a website. You should talk to customers all the time. And you have customers on different sides. If you serve consumers, you have to talk to consumers and let them try out your idea. And on the other side, you have sponsors like business partners who pay for your service somehow, who are implemented there, whose products you are delivering, or for whom you do advertisement or whatever. And you have to talk to them if they would like the service and if they are willing to pay for it. And to do that, you don't need the product. You only need a presentation of the product. This is a very important lean startup idea, is that you don't finish the product like Microsoft. Before they bring out a new software, it has to be perfectly done. It must be perfect, because if it has a bug or is wrong, everybody would hate it. Google is different. Google says, oh, it's a beta, and throws it on the web. It really looks dirty. It's really made cheap, maybe by practitioners. Nobody's ever tested it, and the customer is the test, and it has bugs up and down the end. And so that's it's a beta. We just check the response. And lean means somehow to save money. But the most unlean thing is to develop things that nobody needs. And you can spend a year or 2 in the laboratory and working around, and nobody ever gives a damn, and you're never going to cause a response from the market. You are isolated in your own ideas, but they have nothing to do with the world. So the first thing is you always start with a customer. Of course you need an idea. You can say it always starts with an idea, of course, because how do you want to call a customer if you don't have an idea? Yeah? I mean, you must tell him a story. You have 20 seconds, and then he should say yes or no, or continue or stop. Okay, but truly you start with a customer, always. You always start with a customer. Well, I hate this cycle, but it's somehow needed. Yeah, what is lean? What is a lean situation? I'll give you an example that was learned by Mobilcom. The founder of Mobilcom is Gerhard Schmidt. Most of you have probably not been in Büdelsdorf in the office. Well, it's a modern glass office. You come in, and at the base floor to the right, there's the conference rooms, 10 conference rooms in a row. And at the end, there's the office of the CEO. Gerhard Schmidt is sitting there. So he's not hidden somewhere upstairs. He's sitting right behind the 10 glass conference rooms. And he can see everybody sitting in a conference room, and everybody can see him. So, and the CTO who was responsible for the billing system. Do you know what a billing system is? So if you make a phone call, that's a transaction. And and the billing system takes all the transaction and puts them together into billing positions that are on your bill you get by the end of the month. So how many phone calls have you done? How many SMSs have you done? So and the billing system did 2 billion transactions per month and billed 2 billion euros per year. So it's a huge system, and maybe 100 programmers working on it. And if you have a tariff, a mobile tariff, this is your phone and this is what you pay for it, and you've paid 20 euro fixed fee plus variable fees, then this tariff has to be implemented in the billing system, otherwise it can't be built. So, and the director of the billing system on a Saturday, he read the Kieler Nachrichten newspaper, and there was a full-page advertisement, a red advertisement from Mobilcom with a new mobile tariff. They didn't have yet, but it was in the paper. They sold it, but they didn't have it. Nobody knew it would exist. It was just a talk between Gerhard Schmidt and the Kieler Nachrichten. He called them and said, I want a full page on the weekend, prime time, and let's see. So on Monday, the director took the article in his department, he got his top 5 managers, they went in the conference room and they sat together said, okay, we are selling something we can't deliver, we should hurry up building it, to talk about how to get it implemented in the billing system. And then Gerhard Schmidt saw that, came in and said, what are you doing? Well, we have a new tariff and we can't deliver it, so we sit together to create it. You don't create nothing, go back to work, this is senseless. First we sell it, and I have more advertisements running, and now we check the reaction of the customer. And if we have hundreds of customers calling in and we really want the tariff, then we start, I tell you when to build it. Yeah? But before market reaction, we don't build nothing. It's a waste of time and money. Yeah, and everybody went back to work, and nobody, of course. So, and that's really lean startup. And it was not addicted to, they were short in cash. They have not been short in cash. They came up dozens and hundreds of millions each month they didn't know what to do with. They had huge amounts of money, incredible amounts of money, but he was not willing to waste it in any matter. He was really customer-centric. He really started with the customer. No laboratory. Tell me if there's a need. If I know there's a need, we start to invest in something. So he really came from the other side, absolutely customer-centric. Here's a startup from Kiel. There's an industry designer who created a caravan that can swim. It's called Sealander. It was created 4 years ago, and it's a very lean company. It has no staff, and it's selling around the globe. It's been sold in North America, in Europe, and in Asia, and until today, 30 pieces were produced and delivered. Okay, what's great about this article? You can hardly read it. It's very small and unsharp. Huh? Okay. What is great about this article? At least the people in the first row must find it out. And you have a good excuse in the back. No. Okay.
Likes.
Hmm?
The likes.
The likes? This one?
I can see it on the other side.
Here? You mean the likes?
I'm seeing it on the other side, but maybe you can say this one.
Okay, this is an article from Insider Design Magazine. It's an American design magazine, and they have written an article on Facebook with a video in it.
The smart thing is you can actually make that video completely artificially and see if people want it or not.
yeah, you get a reaction from the market. You put a video in. This is even press. I mean, nobody at Zealander has produced this. It's just the magazine that wrote it. And the interesting part is here. 50 million views. 50 million views. 250,000 likes. 759,000 shares. 77,000 comments. 77,000 people have written a comment under this article. Every 7th US American has read this article. If this would be persons. Probably it's a technical number, so we have to divide it by 2 to be safer. Yeah? Okay, then only every 15th American. Maybe it's been around the globe, so it were not all Americans. But 50 million views. If Sony produces a new mobile phone, and they produce a video that shows the features of this new phone, Xperia Z. So now they want to make an advertisement campaign to bring customers to watch this video, to click on the video. What do you mean is the advertisement budget? If the target of the campaign is to produce 50 million views, how much money does Sony have to take in the hand to budget the campaign? Okay, make a guess.
They at least spend $1 million.
Huh?
At least spend $1 million.
How much?
At least $1 million.
$1 million. Mm-hmm. Any other guess?
How many views?
To create 50 million video views. So somebody presses actively, not an advertisement you are forced to watch, but somebody clicks on play and says, I want to watch that. 50 million active clicks on a Xperia video. It's at least €2 per click, so it's beyond 100 million euros. To produce a campaign with this media value, actively you must spend about 100 million euros. And this is one article, only one, and he had dozens of that. That's lean. Yeah? So lean is to produce a product that has a response, where the market responds. And this is also the reason why, for example, in the business plan, timing is so important. You must come up with your idea when the timing is right. And at the moment, the time is right for many things. Why? Because we have the internet. This product is a niche product. It's not for everybody. But maybe every 1 in 100 likes it. That's enough on a global population. But 30, 40 years ago, it would be impossible to sell this stuff in a very small company and around the globe. The whole globe is watching this. If you search Google in English for swimming caravan, the top 100 photos, 90 are this caravan. It's the first industrial approach in the world. So it's really an innovation. Many people are interested in it. So he has a strong response. And that's, of course, very lean. So this shows why, like Gerhard Schmidt, he came up with a mobile phone, is really testing the market reaction, really observing the customer. So lean startup is the perfection of the ability to observe the market and the market needs to ensure that whatever you do has a market reaction. There's nothing more unlean than wasting time with ideas that never find a reaction in the market.
I have a question.
Yes?
If you put something like online or in any advertisement and you haven't done it yet, so how do you have the copyrights of that product?
Excuse me?
If you haven't done something and you just put things in advertisement or marketing, so how do you have the copyrights of that product?
How you have the populars?
Copyrights
Of the product? It's a legal question about the... You mean this product, for example, or your software, or what? You don't? Yeah, you don't have. I mean, you mean you talk about patenting, or?
No, I think the question is regarding how high is the risk if you communicate your product before you have protected it. So that's
Can you protect it?
no.
I mean, the best protection is to have customers and to be known that you are delivering this product. As far as I know, patenting is really a very slow strategy. In China, this thing is already remade, it's already copied, which is of quite a, only real originals get copied. You know that sentence. So you can't protect yourself from that.
Oh, but
Branding.
branding.
Branding, yeah, you can protect the brand, of course. Yeah. You should, of course, get your word branding patented. Yeah. But if you start the process of patenting Euro patent or global patent, it's important that you have started the process. It must not be ended. Huh? You start the brand patenting, then you can go out with your brand. And then it's not possible to go in between. But if you have not started the process, the patenting process, then it's, of course, you are unprotected.
Thank you.
So now, if we look at the customers and the market reaction, we must keep one thing in mind. In the beginning, you know, whoever of you has studied innovation or technology management knows about this. The enemy of the innovation, the laggards that sit there and don't want anything new, and still would be using the phone with a rotation number if it would be possible at all, because they hate everything new. Well, if your product is not in the mindset of the customer, he doesn't know it, and it has to be validated by experiencing that other people use it too. So we have these resistance against innovations. And there's people that are open-minded or even protagonists that are easy to win for a new product, and there are other people that are closed-minded or the antagonist will never use your product. Yeah, and so to get over this hill and to open the market, to create the market, you can, for example, the cylinder, maybe the swimming camera, nobody knows it exists. But if your friend has one and then he invites you to the weekend to use it, you get used to it and you see somebody else has success with that. I want to have it too. If you are invited 3 times, at least, so then in your mindset, you get open for a decision as well. And this is a mass phenomenon for the market entry, to open the market. If you are over this hill, the market is developed, and you are hopefully well enough in the market suited so that the competition will not take it away from you anymore. So when you look at the customer reaction, you must keep in mind that you are here. So if you talk to 5 people and 8 say no, it could already be a very good reaction. If you talk to 20 people and 1 says yes, it could be enough already. The others will follow. Yeah? From 20 people, 3 are here. They will never come anyway, and you don't need them anyway. And the half of them are closed-minded. They will come when they hear from their friends and families that they use it too. Why did you buy an iPhone? Because you don't want to have a disadvantage to others who have an iPhone as well. Yeah? Not to have a disadvantage is one of the 3 most important buying reasons, how you have learned in university, and it really works. So keep in mind, when you observe the customer, he is not ready for your product, he is here, and he can be closed-minded, so he will not be open. If you have a little bit response, it will be doubled and tripled over time. Yeah, this sentence, I've held here a speech about one company, Cliplisted, 2 months ago, and I've taught this sentence already once. This sentence is really trivial, very easy sentence, but it's so nice that I love to tell it again and again. It's very easy to get a lot of funding if you have a lot of traction. What is traction? So if you have a startup, it doesn't, even in a big corporate, or if you are by yourself, you need traction. What is traction? So if, for example, a cylinder is selling a piece, that's traction. But if the Insider Design magazine writes an article that has 50 million views, that's traction too. Whatever shows the positive reaction to the market is traction. And you must show that you're really going to bring results. Yeah? Found the company, build the founders team, set up the business plan, set up your first test company, set up the first beta version, set up the prototype, and go through the process. Proceed and reach milestones. That's traction. So, and of course market reaction, whatever shows market reaction. If you have no market reaction, if you have not talked to customers, you don't have to talk to investors. Yeah? You won't get funded if you have not yet talked to customers. If you do a consumer business, it's not enough to have 12 test users. Yeah? It's not enough. The digit is at the wrong point. Yeah? So and then you need, of course, much more statistics from customers that say, okay, this product is good, and if it's ready, we will use it. So and then you have traction, and then it's easy to get funded by your boss in a corporate or by investors if you have your own company. Please.
Traction is the same like follow-up or not?
Traction means that you proceed. Traction is it's a terminus in the investor scene, and they say, do you have traction? They ask you if customers are already willing to grab your product. That's what the investor scene is calling traction. Does it work? Do you proceed? Do you get forward? It's not so clever to found the company, the legal entity, 12 months before the prototype is ready. because then it's in your paper track. And then 12 months later, the prototype is ready. If you want to talk to investors after the prototyping, maybe it's better to found the company 2 months before you have the prototype ready. In January, you found the company. In March, the prototype is ready. In May, you have the first beta A/B test, comparative testing with 100 customers. That's traction. Then you can talk to investors and show that your things proceed when the customers react positive. Was I able to express myself, or? Okay, and also an aspect I've mentioned before is this thing with a hypothesis. And this is also implemented in the lean startup philosophy, is you should be really precise to notice when whatever you say in your own words is a fact or is a hypothesis. You should really divide between these worlds. And I see founders and startups again and again in their whole speech. It's hardly to differ. Is it a fact? Have you measured it? Is there mathematics behind it? Have you done a statistic? Have you done an A/B testing? What kind of test method? What is the significance level that you've reached? What are the numbers that you rely on? Have you read a statistic? Have you bought a statistic? What is your assumption? Or is this just a hypothesis? And this is a very different world, because you have to make a lot of, when you start a business, you have to make a lot of hypotheses. Yeah? You have all these. I can name them very fast, but I don't do it again. So you guess that you have a margin. You guess that you get a right price. You guess that you have a customer. You guess that you can do the programming, the beta typing, the prototyping, and you guess that all your KPIs, CVRs, CSCs, USPs are all ready. Yeah? And if only one hypothesis fails, the whole thing can fail. So you have to be a hypothesis killer. If you see a hypothesis, kill it by experience or by measurement, by analytics, by mathematics. And by time, you can't do it in a month. It takes years. But by time, you kill the hypothesis. If somebody makes a hypothesis, first of all, notice that it's a hypothesis and put it on the list of things to be killed. This is the learning curve. And someday, you know about the business and the others don't. Maybe you ask the question about protecting. Killing hypothesis is protecting, because then you know, and your customers will notice when you talk about your topic that you know. When you have an online shop and you want to optimize your conversion is maybe 1.5%. But your competition has 3%. That means that you don't have any traffic anymore, because he can pay more in the CPC Google advertisement than you can, because he has a high margin. So you must then improve your conversion. What you do is mathematics. You divide the conversion into dozens and hundreds of parts, you optimize each part, put it together again, and measure and measure and measure. And no hypothesis that maybe if we change the website like this, maybe then it's better. No, you build 3, 4, or 5 websites, and then you divide the traffic by 4, and let a quarter of the traffic go through each of the 4 different sites. And then you measure over weeks which one does work better, which one results a better conversion. Then you refocus on the best one, and then you divide again. And a good online store has not one online store. Good online stores that work analytic. The best one that I know is Bauer. Bauer has 70 analytics, mathematics, statistics that measure conversions, and they have a conversion of 7%. And they work for 60 other online stores. And they take 3 years, they need 3 years. They come into the online store, they divide the conversion in 700 different pieces, measure them, put them together again, and it takes them 3 years to bring a conversion up from 2% to like 5%. And before they implemented technology in the online store, the technology providers they built like 3 or 4 stores, each one with a different technology, and they let it run half a year. And then they refocus on the one technology that has the highest conversion. Very analytic, no hypothesis. No guesses, only analytics, and very successful. And you have to work like that too. So kill the hypothesis. Startup business is killing hypothesis business. Okay, a little question to you to wake you up right now. I'm talking all the time. One of these sentences is not really true. Which one?
Explain KPI.
Key performance indicator. This is the matrix that you have. And who asked the question anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. A KPI means you have a business, you have a funnel, maybe a sales funnel, how you get the people in, where do you want to bring them to sign or to buy. And then you must find out with which parameters you measure your success. Conversion, sales order, how long do they use it, how much euro do they spend. So you must figure out what are the main metrics your business consists of. The most important metrics. These are the metrics that you report to your investors also. And they are important to the management also.
So are those half sentences all related to the term lean startup? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any guess? Yeah.
First one.
Right. The first one is wrong. It doesn't have to do with the money that you have. I explained before. You can have a lot of money, but still you should do lean startup, because lean startup means that you have your ear really on the customer's breast and really feel and notice what's happening in the customer. One of you should be a sales guy. Who of you loves to pick up the phone and call somebody you don't know? Hands up. Who of you loves it? I love it. I love it. You don't love it? Yeah? Okay, then we have 5 people here, so there's a maximum of 5 teams that consist of enough potential to set up a startup. One of you has to do the phone call the whole day. And I love to sell. And I believe the only reason why designers exist, programmers exist, is because in the young years you don't have the chance to experience how great selling is. Yeah? Selling is the greatest. You hate it, you believe it's crap. Yeah? No, it's fantastic. Yeah? It's the beginning of everything. You give me a phone, you give me a PowerPoint presentation and nothing else. Yeah? I take the phone, I drive out, and a few months later I come with a sign, I have the deal, I bring in the money that pays all the bills, and we can proceed. And I do it. It's the beginning. But it's only fun if you have a great product.
Can we hire you?
Yeah, you can hire me. Yeah. For example, ClipLister. I founded ClipLister with my colleagues in 2007. It's a product video implementation in an online store. So our customers were brands, Nike, Samsung, Philips, Apple on the one side, and the retailers, Amazon, Otto, Neckermann on the other side. So the product shows me the product didn't exist. Amazon was the only one who had product videos. So the other ones wanted that too, and we had the solution. So the product was great because we were the only one who were able to do this, and the product showed me exactly who to call. I mean, if you want to sell health insurance, well, that's not fun to sell, of course. Nobody needs it. It's really unsexy. Everybody has it, and you don't know whom to call. Yeah? And if you make, for the first one, to deliver video process for online stores in Europe, you call the e-commerce director. And now guess, if you reach 10 directors, how many dates you get?
1.
Maybe 8 or 7. And the other 2 just don't have time this year, and then you meet them next year. Because they really want this topic, so they're really interested in this topic, and they really get through. No? You're not, they don't hang up because you just called and they didn't know you. You say, we've got something new for you, we solve a problem that you have, and you have 20 seconds. You must, of course, in 20 seconds, you must hit the trigger, of course. Yeah? And you get a lot of dates, and that's great. And then you sit in the train, and you visit the customers, and you go to Hamburg, and you visit Otto, and you meet the boss of the e-commerce shop. You can be 23 and just had a good idea, and it's fantastic. But one of you has to do it. If nobody does it, if you're all in the laboratory, that's not lean, that's your satellite. You're not connected to the Earth. Yeah. And it doesn't have to do with money. So the first one is wrong. It always starts with the customer, and then you have to test and learn and find your KPIs. So this is my final sentence. So I need my glasses. Lean startup, yeah, it needs a lot of experience. You can train it. After years, it gets better and better. It means that any management decision is consequently oriented to quickly and efficiently find out what will be successful. It describes a management that has perfectionized the ability to observe the customer needs, so to create products that will cause a market response. Thank you very much.